They called it the City of Scholars. But in 1221, it was turned into a graveyard. One man ordered the deaths of 1.8 million people, an entire city wiped out. What could drive Genghis Khan, one of history's greatest conquerors, to commit such a horrifying act? Stay with me, because the truth is more shocking than you might think. Genghis Khan is a name everyone knows, but not always for the right reasons. He's remembered as a conqueror, a leader, even a visionary. But beneath all the glory lies a much darker story. The massacre at Nishapur stands as one of the bloodiest events in history, and the reasons behind it are far from simple. Was it revenge? Was it a strategy? Or was it something deeper? To understand why Genghis Khan unleashed his fury on Nishapur, we need to rewind a bit. The Mongol Empire wasn't just a bunch of horsemen raiding villages. It was a well-oiled war machine, and Genghis Khan had one rule: absolute loyalty. You disobeyed, you paid the price. Now, Nishapur wasn't just any city. It was wealthy, cultured, and strategically located. For Genghis Khan, it was the perfect prize. But things went terribly wrong when his son-in-law, Torogen's husband, was killed during a skirmish with Nishapur's defenders. That one death set off a chain reaction no one could stop. Genghis Khan ruled by fear as much as by force. He believed terror was the quickest way to crush resistance. Cities that surrendered were spared. Cities that resisted, well, Nishapur found out the hard way. Imagine this. You're living in a city surrounded by Mongol armies. You've heard the stories. Cities burned, rivers running red with blood. And now, they're at your gates. The trigger. When Genghis Khan's son-in-law was killed, it wasn't just a personal loss. It was an insult to the Khan's authority. In Mongol culture, family loyalty was sacred. The death of Torogen's husband wasn't just a tragedy. It was a declaration of war, and Genghis Khan never left insults unanswered. The siege. The siege of Nishapur began in the spring of 1221. The Mongols surrounded the city, cutting off supplies and escape routes. Inside, the citizens were trapped, their hopes dwindling by the day. The defenders fought valiantly, but they were no match for Mongol tactics. The Mongols used catapults to hurl flaming projectiles over the city walls. They dug tunnels to weaken the city's foundations. Day by day, Nishapur's defenses crumbled. When Nishapur finally fell, Genghis Khan's wrath was absolute. He ordered his troops to kill every man, woman, and child in the city. Estimates suggest that as many as 1.8 million people were slaughtered. The streets ran red with blood. Entire families were executed, their bodies left to rot in the open. Even the animals weren't spared. And if you're wondering why Genghis Khan went to such extremes, here's the chilling part. It wasn't just about revenge. It was a message to the world. This is what happens when you defy the Mongols. The fear factor. The massacre of Nishapur sent shockwaves across the Islamic world. Cities heard about Nishapur and surrendered without a fight. For Genghis Khan, fear was a weapon as powerful as any sword. The legacy. But here's the twist. Despite the horrors, Genghis Khan's empire brought stability to regions torn apart by war. He established trade routes, promoted religious tolerance, and even created a legal code. So, was he a monster or a visionary? Maybe he was both. The massacre at Nishapur is a reminder of how complex history can be. Genghis Khan was a leader who built an empire, but also left a trail of devastation. The story of Nishapur isn't just about one city. It's about the cost of ambition and the human lives caught in its wake. Want to know more untold stories from history? Hit subscribe and check out our next videos.